some fun clip stuff?
Oh, heck yeah.
All right. Well, we have to do this. So last week, we did a short clip of Tim Pool, right? Who's a middle-aged man. Not that we're knocking it. We're both middle-aged. He's not that much younger than we are.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah,
Some of us are
right.
maybe not going to identify that way.
Right.
Speak for yourself.
Yes, I've been 20 for the last 20 years. Anyway, so, but his whole thing is his whole right-wing hustle grift thing that he does is he's trying to seduce younger people, right, the Gen Z kids, into sort of conservative, that sort of political landscape. That's how he makes all his money. And like 80% of his audience is male, which isn't shocking. And most of them are teens, early 20s. And we had pointed out that he wears a beanie all the time because he's bald, to hide the fact that he's bald. And basically, we got a ton of hate comments and hate emails from his followers. So,
wow.
I just want to let the Tim Pool followers know, because our audience got the joke. You guys didn't. We weren't making fun of his appearance. We were making fun of the fact that he's a middle-aged man that spends all day thinking about how he can appeal to teenage boys. And then you know, then how he's going to basically flip on them when they don't do what he wants, kind of thing. It's really creepy. You know, he's a grown man. He's got a gun and a sword stapled to the wall behind him, and he lives in a compound thing with a bunch of other guys, and they have a skate park, and it's just, the whole thing is creepy. I mean, it's just weird. But that was kind of the joke, is basically everything he's selling is bullshit. And they don't do any research or read. They're just placating to that audience. And most of that audience is like the disaffected, angry young man, the incel kind of guy. And it's like, I get it. I was a kid once. But, you know, the joke is that you grow out of it. Hopefully. Hopefully you don't end up like Tim, where you're pushing 40 and you're still doing this shit. Because he's not taken seriously by other adults. He's like that guy that graduated high school last year but still hangs out there all the time because they think he's cool. But everybody his age tries to avoid him. That guy.
Right. But he might be managing to sell a few of the kids that are still there in the high school on the idea that he's cool. However, even some of the high schoolers are kind of like, why are you hanging out here?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the nerdiest senior is still a senior, so they have, yeah. And it's just funny to me because he's got, you know, the fake gun and the fake sword. And it's like, I own a gun, but I'm an ex-cop. And I have a sword, but that's because I come from a samurai family. My father gave me a sword as a gift. It's a cultural thing. But you know what I don't do? I don't staple it on the wall behind me. Like it's a trophy. I mean, it's just...
I don't know. Maybe you should.
It should, yeah. Yeah. Mine are actually real, though. You can't leave a sword unsheathed stapled to the wall. It'll ruin the metal.
I mean, that's fair.
Those things are really expensive to polish. Anyway, I wanted to get into this just to get a sense of who this guy is, right? And how dangerous what he spills is. So there was a guy in May of last year, 2023, in Allen, Texas, and he shot up basically a strip mall. And he was a neo-Nazi. He had swastika tattoos and shit. And he was also what's called an incel. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's a online group, but they're called incels because they're involuntarily celibate, which is just a fancy way of saying, I can't get laid.
Okay.
It's really embarrassing because they have, I didn't know much about them. I had to go look some of this up.
No, I don't either. Like, well, I don't know why you need a name for that. Why do you need a name for that? What am I missing about this whole equation?
Well, I don't know why you'd be out advertising, I'm angry at women because I can't get laid. It's like, well, that doesn't seem like a woman problem. That seems like a you problem. But Tim Pool plays to that. I mean, he gets these like pickup artist guys on his show and blah, blah, blah. And incels are weird because they have like their own like jargon. Like, I guess Like normal looking guys, they call normies. Good looking guys, they call chads. And I guess if you're a good looking, yeah. And then if you're a good looking black guy, they call you a Jerome, which is A, racist, and B, is weird because in Africa, there's a country called Chad that's ironically filled with a bunch of Jeromes. So why don't you just call them all Chads?
Okay, I do want to say my brother's best friend in high school was Jerome, and Jerome was pretty good looking. So I mean, I guess there's something to that. Hi, Jerome, if you're one of our viewers. I mean, probably he's not, but if he is, hey,
give her a ring.
I think he's married with kids. I feel like he's not available, but you know what? He still is a good-looking man. So there you go.
All right. Well, for the incel kids, if you guys are watching this while you're writing your hate stuff, just so you know, subscribe to our show and write as much hate comments as you can, because that's the only way we're going to learn.
Yep. Teach us a lesson.
Teach us a lesson. You got to subscribe and watch our show every week and write as many hate comments as you can, because that's the only way we're going to stop. Anyway,
repetition is a valid form of education
and protest. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will give you guys some advice though. If you are trying to meet other people of the opposite sex, the same sex, or whatever, the best way to do it is to be interesting, which means, you know, reading books or getting a skill, picking up a hobby. Simple advice. You want to meet a lot of attractive women? Take a yoga class. Take a cooking class. Take a spin class. Learn to play an instrument. Comic-Con. There are a ton of gorgeous women that go to Comic-Con. And we know they're into role play. So I don't know what the issue is here with meeting other people. I don't get it. But just to go into Tim Pool. So just to give you a sense. So May of 2023, because I got on a tangent there. Shooter in Texas with a neo-Nazi incel. And here's a quick article that I just want to scroll through because this is interesting, because this is why these guys like Tim Pool are so dangerous. So this guy got into the shooting, and it talks about it here in the article as we go down. But here we go. So he referenced white nationalists. Here we go. Garcia also referenced the white nationalist nonprofit Vidare. So these are all the people that radicalized him, right? In his social media history, blah, blah, blah. Radical terrorists and others who have committed acts of violence have frequently frequented England's site and the Daily Stormer, which is a neo-Nazi paper. Dylan Roof, the man who murdered the 9 black churchgoers in Charleston, South Carolina, frequented its comment section. New Mexico shooter William Edward also frequented the site. Peyton Guerin, blah, blah, blah. So Poole is one of the guys who's hosted a variety of radical right-wing figures on Timcast IRL. So Tim Pool is who we're talking about. This guy was a big fan of Tim Pool and posted a bunch of Tim Pool shit. And Tim Pool has neo-Nazis like here we go. Jack Prosobiec, Alex Jones isn't a Nazi, but Nick Fuentes is. Right? Tim Pool actually had Milo Yiannopoulos on with Nick Fuentes and Kanye West talking about the Jewish problem at one point. So Tim Pool brings these guys on. So these disaffected young men who are incels, they're bitter, they're angry. And then what does he do? He brings on all these racists and sexists and pitches that as this is the problem. This is what a real man is. And, this is how you be a Chad, right? You got to have like the Maserati and the platinum card and treat women like shit. And that's his whole spiel. But the joke is, and our audience got it, it wasn't that he was bald. Samuel L. Jackson is bald. The Rock is bald. Vin Diesel is bald. Bruce Willis is bald. There are a lot of bald guys who are badasses. Nobody's knocking you for being nobody cares that you're a middle-aged bald guy. Our point is, own it. That's cool. Wearing a beanie and pretending to like you're 20 when you're really pushing 40 it's a little pathetic. That was our joke. We weren't making fun of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like there was this store, I think it was called The Rave, where you got all these like $5 like clever clothes. It's like being 40 and going into the rave, like
right. I don't know, it's Hot Topics.
Listen.
Is Hot Topics still a thing,
I think it's still a thing, but it's very large on t-shirts. I feel like you can be 40 and go in and buy the t-shirt.
Yeah. Maybe get like an ear cuff. I don't know if that's
maybe.
I don't know what people wear. I don't know. You kids today and your poodle skirts and your rock'em sock'em robots.
Oh my goodness.
Watching Leave It to Beaver up at all hours of the night. I don't know. Youngins.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Leave It to Beaver. That's a fresh reference. So anyway.
Go polish your samurai sword.
Not a euphemism, huh?
I didn't say show it to me.
Well, I don't do that.
Said go polish it all by yourself.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think it's funny because it's like, I have it because it's a gift. It's not like, it's not like I would actively go out and buy one. And it's a gift. It's more of a cultural thing. It's like some people get their kids baptized, right? It's not, it's not anything but that. But here is Sam Cedar and Emma Vigilant on the Majority Report. Now, they've done a really good job of making fun of these guys. We just sort of dabble. This is like an ongoing project for them that they're really good at. So here they are, and they're going to talk a little bit about Tim Pool and Tim Pool trying to prove how cool he is and how he's one of the youngsters.
Some idea about themselves, but their whole notion of selling it undercuts the premise of what they're trying to sell about themselves. How do I express this? You know what? Instead of expressing it, let's just play this clip. Clip number 11. Could not do a pop shove it. Basically saying I was terrible at skateboarding, I didn't actually know how to do it, and I was bad. Now, why would they do that? Why would they lie? They don't want someone like me who's challenging their lies to be seen as culturally influential or in any way having some kind of skill or cool factor, right? They don't got to think skateboarding is cool. A lot of people don't. My point is, we here at Timcast work out of a large mansion with 2 indoor skate parks, an outdoor skate park for the most part, and music recording studio. And there are pro skaters and rock stars who work here. Now that should be cool factor, right? MTV Crib style. In fact, when we put up the video doing a breakdown, a tour, maybe we should do another one. It got like 600,000 views overnight. This is something that would inspire people. A regular person who says, how can I be successful? How can I live the dream? So they have to lie about it and say things like it's a cult or a compound. They have to make sure they control the narrative so that you don't see a path forward, a successful path in the world that we are building.
To come hang out on my compound. With the skate parks, which are cool.
Yeah, they're definitely cool. They're super cool too. 2 skate parks indoors. Yeah, this is what a 13-year-old kid's idea of like a cool house is. I mean, I thought about
She nailed it.
He is so the guy who turned 21, who has no friends his own age, going back to the high school saying, hey guys, I can get you alcohol.
Right.
To try to get the cool kids in the high school to think he's the cool guy.
Yeah.
Like he's totally that guy.
Yeah. And that's the joke.
That was super weird.
That's the joke. And for Tim's followers who, ripping on us once again, remember to subscribe and write hate comments because that's the only way we're going to learn to appreciate Tim Pool. But our joke is, you guys bought into this, and it's a joke. It's a little sad, but that's the truth. The truth is, yeah, he makes a lot of money, but he makes a lot of money. He lives on he's a mansion. It's like a compound. He's a guy pushing 40 who lives with a bunch of other guys and skateboards and plays pin pool and does his little podcast. And that's his whole existence. And his whole podcast is geared towards, how do I attract more young boys to watch me and think I'm cool? It's just sad. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, listen, I don't know if I have anything to add on that.
No, that's pretty much all it is. I mean, that's the whole spiel. But we'll.